Hey, this is Dan with Guardian Mold Prevent, and I wanted to take a look with you today at a home located in Wilmette, Illinois. We're up in the attic space, the underside of the roof, and this home is on the market for sale. The buyers, or the people who are at the table now trying to buy this home, sent in a home inspector, and that home inspector generated a report that came back showing that there was possible mold growth or a mold-like substance in the attic, which is legally, as far as a home inspector is allowed to notate a mold problem without actually taking tests and having those tests analyzed. But it's very obvious to our trained eyes that there is mold that is developed on the underside of this roof. And the purpose of this video was actually to show what drives mold growth in the wintertime. And as you can see, you've probably already noticed that there is quite a bit of frost that is developed on the underside of this roof. The roof sheathing and the nails, the rafters, they've all got condensation that has turned into frost. And that's a result of some temperature differential issues that have developed in this attic space and stem from some insufficient ventilation and also some insulation issues that we'll address a little bit later on in the video. One thing that I want to note, because it's here on the screen, as we look at the very top, it kind of just breezes right on by, but this attic has a ridge vent in it. It's a vent that spans the entire top of the roof, and when they had this roof redone 5 or 6 years ago, the roofer asked them to take a $1,200 or $1,300 upgrade that would increase their ventilation in their attic and cause the space to be ventilated properly. What we found over the years is that with the snow buildup, the temperature outside when it gets it's above freezing, and then it snows, and then it's below freezing, that those vents freeze up rather easily. Now, I want you to look at this diagram. We're going to spend some time here and try to give you a quick crash course on why this frost has developed on the underside of the roof. In the lower portion of this diagram is where your living space is. This is the air that is conditioned by your furnace. It's the air that's conditioned by your air conditioner. This air is meant to be kept in your living space and blocked out of your attic by an insulation barrier on the top or the uppermost ceiling in your home. So if you have a ranch, it's the ceiling in your first floor, obviously. If you have a two-story, it's your second floor ceiling. That insulation is meant to keep the house heat down and out in the winter time. And then you can see at the overhangs, there are vents that are cut into the roof that allow for cold air to get up into the attic space in the winter. And then there are vents at the upper portions of this roof that allow for warm air that does trickle into the attic space to be forced up and out and replaced with cold air. You want the air temperature in your attic space to be as relatively similar as the surface temperature of the wood as possible so that you can avoid reaching dew point, condensating, and getting mold growth. Now, in the attic we looked at in this video, you've seen frost all over the place. Much of the time you'll notice that frost only develops on the north side of the roof, and that's because overnight when that frost develops, what happens is the sun comes up, it warms up the house all the way around, but never gets to that north side, and you'll get frost there. But the ventilation and insulation deficiencies in this home were so bad that the frost was actually all over the attic and was causing quite a bit of problem. Now, when either your lower vents are blocked, there's not enough upper ventilation, you don't have enough insulation, whatever causes the warm air to get into the attic and get trapped, that's what's going to contribute to the moisture problem. We'll run real quick through 3 or 4 examples here. You can see that this is a bathroom exhaust fan that is connected up into the attic. It's not tied out through the roof, and it's pumping hot, moist air into this attic space. This is one contributor that can cause mold in the attic. We're looking at the overhangs on the outside of a house. These are perforated panels that let cold air in, but in this particular example, there's insulation that is actually stuffed down into the overhang, and it's blocking the cold air from coming up through the roof. On this next home, you'll notice that there actually are no overhangs. And so like in this example, a brick bungalow in the city, there's no place for cold air or lower ventilation to allow cold air to get in. And so the warm air in the attic just stays stagnant. And then in this last example, you'll see that there's insufficient insulation. The insulation in this home is not even over the top of the ceiling joists. And then there are other things that can contribute, like whole house fans or furnaces in the attic space that allow that warm air to get trapped. Those are all root cause issues to the mold problem. Now, I want to look very briefly at what a mold remediation project in an attic space looks like when it's finished. You can see that there is a white acrylic-based mold-resistant coating been applied in this attic. That was all done after the surfaces were all treated with the biocide, scrubbed down, and then we put that coating on to prevent mold growth going forward.